Hello peeps, Dan is back, and today it's going to be about papayas. There's a bit of a party going on over there with some real rocking music going on. Bang bang into the room. I don't really know what any of this music is anymore because I'm old now, but there we go. So anyway, let's take a look at these papayas that I grew. From seed actually, and they're looking pretty snazzy, don't you think? Now these are about 5 to 6 inches tall, I would say. Of course, some people's estimate of inches is better than others, who knows, but looking pretty cool there, wouldn't you say, as I look through the papaya plants. So I'm going to put them back there. I'll show you the seeds that I grew them from. I was given these. Look. That's what we've got. Don't want to drop them on the floor. Let me take a look at them. Cool, the party's really rocking there. There's some real cool music going on there. And so basically all I did was got a decent sized pot with multi-purpose compost in and put a seed in. And these survived. I think I set about 5 and I think 2 made it, or 3 made it, or 4, something like that. They didn't all make it, but I'm quite happy with that success rate. So I thought, why not grow some more? And there's a lot of things about papayas, and the aim is to grow something tropical within this very polytunnel or this garden. So that's what I want to do. And lots of things about papaya. It grows quick. They have a short life apparently, so after 3 years, apparently the yield gets low, so they take the trees down. They're not worth having if they're longer than 3 years old commercially. And they're a plant with 3 sexes. Well, they don't have 3 sexes each, you know, but you've got male plants, female plants, and you've got bisexual plants as well. So they are a plant for the modern times. In orchards where they grow them, they tend to have about 10 female plants for one male. So there you go. Lots of information about them, but the purpose of the video and the challenge is I'm challenging everybody out there who's watching this, if you want to take up the challenge of course, to grow something tropical if you live in a temperate region. So give it a go. And basically the reason I've chose papayas is apparently they can fruit. The fruit can be ready up to, I believe, 10 months after the plant has been sown or something like that. So what we're going to do is sow some more. So you might want to follow my lead on this. I'm going to put that down there. Usual routine. Now you may be saying, why ever is Dan growing these in September when the autumn and winter is probably not that far away? Well, one reason I'm doing it is because, you know, we still seem to be having pretty good weather for the time of year. Had a very warm and long summer so far, but also I'm hoping they're going to be a decent size, ready for next spring, or you know, late spring, early summer, to be put outside here in the polytunnel, and hopefully that will start to increase the chances of success. That's what I'm hoping anyway, the chances of fruiting. So where should we put the camera? I'll tip the camera up here. So yeah, I got me like that. Let's put them on here. These geraniums haven't all germinated yet. I'll show you those in a moment actually. But so we get our seeds. So I'm going to need 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to do some. Here we go. Some Dan style planting. Do you like my notes I made? Cool, aren't they? Goes down really well with the rocking music that's going on this evening. Bang bang into the room. Bang bang into the room. I don't know the rest of the words, and she goes up pretty high after that. It's a bit catchy actually. Not sure if that's an amazing thing to be singing really, but I guess it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is to be cool these days. So there you go. Looking at that like that, I'm going to put that in like that. That one there. I'm going to put that there like that. Cover these up again. Apparently papaya seeds germinate best at around 20 degrees C, which is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And another good thing about papaya plants, apparently, I mean, I'm not an expert at this, they can, for brief periods, tolerate temperatures of 0 degrees C. So that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So, no, more cold tolerant than, say, a mango or something like that. And in high temperatures, the flower buds fall and the plant suspends its growth and waits until the temperature's lowered a bit and then starts growing again, sort of for its own protection. They don't like areas that are too windy, and ideally in their own climate. Of course, it won't be going in the ground here. It'll have to go in a pot, a decent sized pot. But they like loose, moist soil with good drainage, high organic matter, pH around 5.5 to 7, fertile and deep soil, and the fruit set within 10 to 12 months. So there we go, 32, and the trees can get up to 10 meters high. But of course, that's that's not going to happen, is it? Because it's just not. Because it's going to be in a pot. But so what we're going to do is put them in the trusty old windowsill propagators. Look at these Tithonias, man. I'm going to be having. We'll talk about that later, actually. Here we go. So that's going to go there. This one is going to go down there. Right. Okay. Right. So that's going to go in there like that. I'm going to grow. I've set 8, but I tell you what. Let's not set 8, let's set more, shall we? I mean, papayas are meant to be really good for you, and apparently there's all this stuff nowadays that people, due to stressful lifestyles and poor eating habits and all this, are suffering from inflammation and all this bits and bobs. I've got it on the sheet there. I'll talk a bit more about the health benefits of growing papayas. But certainly with my recent illness, it's made me think about, looking after oneself. And, maybe papayas could be part of that, I don't know. But, just put that in like that. Doink. And there's my seeds. Move that over, and we're going to have a brief chat in uno momento about polytunnels and plans and stuff after we've set these papayas. So there's going to be in total 20 more here, and all being well, if I get 8 survive, then I'll be fine. There's loads of information on the internet, on YouTube, about germinating papaya seeds, using water, using like little cotton face pad things, doing it like that. So I'd recommend you guys check that out. But I'm just doing what seemed to work for me, a very simple, basic idea. And I would imagine one reason why they germinated so well, of course, it's been so warm. Even during the cooler periods when we had all that rain a week or so ago, it didn't really go that cold. It would have been probably about 20 degrees in this polytunnel, which may account for the, how well they've done. Because when you hear about, growing a tropical plant, you think, oh, it's going to need to be like 30 to 35 degrees to germinate, but apparently not so for the papaya. So let's talk a little bit. Now, apparently Christopher Columbus referred to them as the fruit of the angels. There we go. They're high in carotenes, vitamin C, flavonoids, vitamins, folate, pantothenic acid, whatever that is, potassium, copper, magnesium, fibre, folic acid, and as I stated earlier, they are anti-inflammatory. Now, there's certain ways to get them to germinate them. I told you the way I did it, which was literally to put them in a hot and humid polytunnel and stick the seeds in some multi-purpose compost, and that's what I did. But there's ways of like washing the seeds, removing the coating. You immerse the seeds in water for 4 days, and you change the water regularly, and after 2 days you throw away the seeds that are floating, and then leave it another day, and then you throw away the seeds that float again and just get the ones at the bottom and use those. So there we go. So check out those videos, and if you're sowing seeds from fruits, apparently the elongated, so the longer fruit seeds, they have 66% of the bisexual seeds and 33% of female seeds. And if you're growing in a pot, you want a 15 to 20 litre pot with about 20 inches diameter and 12 to 15 inches deep, because they like to send down a relatively deep root. Of course, you don't want to put it in a massive pot, because if you're growing it in a cold or temperate climate, whatever, you want to move it somewhere frost free for the winter. So even in this polytunnel, I still wouldn't trust leaving one out here. We'll have to go inside like a conservatory, maybe something like that. So I'm going to water these in now. And many of you will know the technique I employ here, and that's to use tepid water when I'm growing stuff that likes a little bit warmer for germination. So use your tepid water. I've had this in, it's been pretty warm today actually. I mean, we're into September, well, first day of September, but no sign of autumnal weather today, but apparently the heat wave could continue. So yeah, it's been pretty good weather this year really so far. So anyway, that's the plan. So growing some papayas, hopefully I'm going to get them germinated whilst I've still got the heat, put them inside maybe November, December, leave them there until I don't know, April, May, whenever the weather changes, put them out here, and the plan is to produce some papayas. Now ideally you want to get bisexual plants apparently, because they've got the male and the female flowers on the same plant or something like that. When sexing plants, if you've got male and female plants, apparently the female flowers look a lot more robust than the male flowers, but this is more of a project and a learning experience for me. So maybe you guys fancy tagging along and having a go at growing some papaya seeds or something like that, because there's always this lure of growing something a bit different outside of your comfort zone, growing something different in a different climate. Maybe if you live in a tropical climate where it doesn't get below 28, doesn't get much below 20 degrees, you fancy growing something like apples, just something that's, I remember when I went, in Southeast Asia, I was, obsessed with looking at the mangoes in the trees and the coconuts and the bananas and that, but to them it was nothing, They'd rather see an apple hanging on a tree, whereas, to me, an apple hanging on a tree is nothing exciting, but I guess it's what you feel that you're not used to, really. So, yeah. So, the geranium project is coming on relatively okay. Whoops, as I trip over. Keep my bloopers in, makes it funnier, doesn't it? The camera off. That's it. Yep, so you can see my geraniums are coming up there, look. Once again, people are asking why ever is Dan growing geraniums at this time of year when the colder weather is looming. Well, the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to get them germinated whilst we've still got the heat. So hopefully within the next 2 months they should make a half decent size. Then we're going to overwinter them and then proceed, nice one just coming up there, look, overwinter them and then proceed to plant them out next year, and they should make very decent sized plants. Now this is an absolute success, and I am incredibly happy with this great variety Autumn Royal. I think I got it from Blackmore Nursery. I think I did No, I didn't. Forgive me. Blackmore Nursery are very good as well, but I got it from Ken Muir, which is an Essex company. So there we go. So yeah, very good. And this is more than likely going to have some fruit on it next year. So yeah, I'm going to tidy it all up. But this is one thing you could use a polytunnel for, and that's to get quicker growth for your grapevines and things, because the heat acts as a catalyst for the heat, for the growth. And there you go. So going to get some, you know, if I can get 4 or 5 bunches off of that next year, I'll be incredibly happy. The mango tree, you can see the leaves there. Look, that's looking pretty snazzy, not too shabby. We'll talk about the orange tree another day because you can't really see it. Now this here, the cherry tree, as much as I love it, probably not one of my best ideas to put it in here. Of course, a peach tree, really had to go in here because of avoidance of peach leaf curl. But now the cherry tree, that's coming out when that goes dormant in probably November, December time. I'm going to be digging that up, and that's going to be planted outside in an undecided location yet. But unfortunately, it can't stay there as much as I'd love it to, because I need more space in this polytunnel. So yeah, things, lots to do. Had a bit of a break from the garden, and it's nice sometimes to just take a bit of, what the hell is that? Slime. Anyway, sometimes it's nice to just take a break from things and see how they go. So there you go, papayas. Get some seeds. Do what I've done, or follow some of the other videos on YouTube. There's loads of information on there. I think Go Tropical UK, he's got some great stuff on there. In fact, he's got some great stuff about growing tropical plants in the UK in general. Very good channel actually. Another one, Grow with Kit, as well. I saw that he had some good stuff about germinating papayas as well. Yeah, so check those guys' channels out. If you want to take up the challenge with Dan, do it. If you don't, no hard feelings. All the best. A little postscript here. I've showed this a lot in videos, but for new people to the channel, I'll show this again. Windowsill propagators, you get your cover, which acts as another layer of insulation, and it really does get warm in there, so that adds a little bit of extra heat. So if you put that in your windowsill wherever with that on, that will probably add to the speed of the germination as well. But if 20 degrees C is ideal, you might not even need that. But that's one thing you can employ as well, that I often do when I germinate things, to get them to germinate more reliably and quicker. So there we go. Over and out.